All right, today we are digging into something that affects millions of us, but often in ways we don't even see: the hidden math behind bank fees. It's a story about something called predatory protection, and it all kicks off with one pretty simple question. So let me ask you this. How in the world can a simple $3 cup of coffee end up costing you 38 bucks? I mean, it sounds completely made up, but for a lot of people, this is frighteningly real. Yeah, $38. That's not a typo. And it's not a hypothetical. It's the very real result of a financial system that, most of us use every single day, but very few of us actually understand. It's a system built on fees, penalties, and, as we're about to find out, hidden algorithms. So, how does this even happen? Well, to get to the bottom of this, we have to start with the official story. What the banks tell us. These are the fees that, on the surface, look like pretty straightforward penalties for making a simple mistake. Okay, so the first piece of this puzzle, and the one we've probably all heard of, is the overdraft fee. The idea is simple, right? You spend more money than you have in your account, the bank spots you the difference, and you pay them a penalty for that little service. Seems fair enough. And then you've got things like interest minimums. These are a little less common, but they work like this. Say the interest you actually owe on a tiny credit balance is just a few cents. Well, instead of charging you a few cents, the bank charges a set minimum fee, maybe $1 or even more. It's another small charge, but believe me, it starts to add up. So you have these different fees, and the official line is that they're just penalties for messing up. But what if that's just the tip of the iceberg? What if there's something much, much bigger going on right under the surface? And this is where it gets really interesting. This brings us to the core of it all, the hidden algorithm. Because what the research shows is that the way these fees stack up against you, well, it's often not an accident at all. It's by design. The source material we're looking at, predatory protection, it puts it really bluntly. It calls them algorithms designed to extract wealth. Now that's a heck of a phrase, isn't it? It completely shifts the idea from an accidental penalty to an intentional system that's built for a very specific purpose. So how does an algorithm like that actually work? Well, check this out. Imagine you make a few small purchases during the day. That coffee, a sandwich, you name it. Then, later, a big payment like your rent or a car payment gets processed. Now, instead of handling these in the order they happened, the bank system can be set up to process the single biggest payment first. That one move is designed to push your account into the negative. And then it processes all those smaller buys from earlier, and now bam, bam, bam. Each one triggers its own separate overdraft fee. What could have been just one fee, or maybe none at all, has suddenly been multiplied. And this difference is absolutely crucial to understand. A penalty is reactive. It happens because of something you did. But an algorithm, that's proactive. It's a system designed to create an outcome. It's no longer just something that happens because of you. It's something that is actively happening to you. And knowing that the system is proactive is so important because it doesn't affect everybody in the same way. So the big question is, who is really paying the price for all these algorithm-driven fees? The answer is something we're calling the 9% problem. Just look at this chart. It's absolutely staggering. A tiny sliver of customers, only 9% of them, end up paying a whopping 84% of all the overdraft fees collected. This isn't a system that affects everyone a little bit. No, it heavily, heavily targets a very specific and often financially vulnerable group of people. And here's what that looks like in actual dollars. While most of us might pay, less than $5 a year in these fees, someone in that vulnerable 9% is paying, on average, over $450. For a person or a family that's already living paycheck to paycheck, that is a truly devastating amount of money to lose. So when you zoom out and look at the big picture, here's what you see. A system that is literally extracting billions of dollars in revenue, and it's doing it primarily from the pockets of people who can least afford it. It's a direct transfer of wealth from the poor to financial institutions. Which brings us to our final section, and the very title of the source material itself, predatory protection. I mean, it's a total contradiction, right? And it perfectly captures the paradox at the very heart of this whole thing. See, on the one hand, overdraft is marketed to us as a protection service. It saves you from the hassle or maybe the embarrassment of having your card declined. But on the other hand, as we've just seen, it's a meticulously engineered system of extraction. It might protect the transaction, sure, but it can absolutely drain the person's account. And so,
We'll leave you with this to think about. When a system that's supposed to be helping you out actually ends up hurting the most vulnerable among us, you really have to stop and ask, what is the true price of this so-called protection? And maybe more importantly, who is it that's really being protected here?